Welcome back. The storm is here. And in today's video, we're going to talk about why I picked a 370Z for drag racing. Lorna's cars had a few upgrades for the 2026 season. What upgrades I may have had, but more specifically, why did I trade the Mk4 Golf GTI? It wasn't slow, it was modified for something slightly different. So rather than just stand here idly talking about it, let's just hop in and go for a ride. So then, why a Nissan 370Z? I had a perfectly good Golf. It was great. It served me well for 10 years. 230 horsepower, modified, not slow, made noises that I liked. However, I wanted something fresh that I hadn't driven before, something a bit more purposeful. The Golf, when I originally got it, was a daily driver, which was ideal for getting me to and from work, to car shows and all the rest of it. And don't get me wrong, front wheel drives can be rapid. They really can. Just look at the Santa Pod front wheel drive championship and you'll see some absolute rockets, and props to them, although they take a lot of work to get there. But I've never had a rear wheel drive before. Lorna has. She beat me to it. Her Mk4, as some of you may have seen, is absolutely fantastic. On the road, on the track, on the drag strip. It may not be the fastest in the world, but it's not about that. It's a sensation I hadn't had before when driving. Quite a special sensation. So I wanted something rear wheel drive, particularly getting into drift and drag. Kind of fits, right? Japanese. I'd never had a Japanese car before. Always had VWs and things like that, which are great and cool. I mean, I know it's not a 90s Japanese car. I mean, just look at the prices of them, as we'll touch on in a moment. It ties in nicely to nostalgia. As many of you will know, be a part of or appreciate, irrespective of when you were born, I was part of the PlayStation generation, which meant the Gran Turismo series, the Fast and Furious films, and most importantly to me, Need for Speed Underground, in particular Need for Speed Underground 2, which for any of those that have played it, or at least seen the front cover, will know that a nice prominent green modified 350Z features nicely. And it sounds great in the game, it looks well, and that kind of inspired me. And I didn't even know I liked the car until recently replaying it, I think a year or two ago, and thinking, now that's cool. So the hunt started. However, as you can see, we didn't end up with a 350Z. I don't recognise all of you. You may be new around here, in which case I'll introduce myself. I'm Ben, and welcome to Drift, Drag, Drive, a new YouTube channel that I'm going to document my journey into grassroots motorsports, car culture, and all the communities that surround it, as a bit of a novice, actually a complete novice in this area. So I'd like to capture that, embed myself in the community, actually highlight the heroes that make those communities brilliant, starting off at Santa Pod in the Sportsman ET Drag Racing Championship. So stick around, and if you really enjoyed it, please like. I'd really appreciate the subscription, and I will see you on the flippity flip. The Japanese car market is surging. I've heard that it might be dropping, but it's high, especially with Americans getting their hands on them now because of the laws or something out there. We started looking at 350Zs, and the later ones with the more powerful HR engine, which is more desirable, were pricey, and they were getting up to and overlapping with the price of a 370Z. Don't get me wrong, I wanted a clean example, but I don't need a show queen. I don't want a show queen. I want to take out and drive it, tinker with it. And it just so happens on a nice Sunday afternoon drive that Lorna started checking Auto Trader, as she regularly does, and she found a 370Z in the colour that I was after. So we found ourselves on that afternoon drive stopping not too far from where we are, coincidentally. That evening I put an offer in. The next weekend I was picking it up, and unfortunately putting the Golf up for sale. The rest is history. So what about this 370Z then? What stood out to me? The colour, I love the colour. When it's cleaned up, which it isn't now because of the state of the roads, I think it looks fantastic. It's got a level of aggression to it, even without any exterior modifications. I think it looks great. The VQ37 engine, as I've touched upon, is absolutely mind-blowing. I love it. I really, really love it. I know some of you might think otherwise, but I personally love it. Engine go vroom. Very feel. It also comes slightly modified with a NVIDIA N1 exhaust system, along with ISR high flow catalytic converters, which only exaggerate the engine note that I'm after without being too raspy or, dare I say, in your face, except when you push the loud pedal, because that's what I want. According to a little bit of Wikipedia research, it's got a number of aluminium, I'm not American, aluminium panels and strut braces and things like that, because it is still a relatively heavy car, which is something that is often criticised about it. Additionally, the spec of this is the GT spec, which means that it comes with the raised forged aluminium alloys, nice 19-inch, sitting on top of 4-pot Brembo calipers, which is going to serve us well for some track days, which we're looking to do, although we have been advised by the professionals and the forums that if we are going to do any two-spirited driving, that we should look to upgrade at least the brake pads and the fluid, which we will do. It has an LSD as well, a limited slip differential, which should help us with grip and traction, or at least keeping us straight. So that's the car in a nutshell. There is a few other features that I will touch upon. So what did we do when we first got it? Well, as any good owner should know, a bit of preventative maintenance, especially on what I would call quite a sizable investment for me anyway. We took it to Horsham Developments, which doesn't happen to be in Horsham, and I took it there for a full inspection to give me peace of mind, and fortunately we got a pretty good bill of health. One thing that we did need to do, however, which I was expecting, was the galley gaskets of the engine, which is a relatively large job. I thought I could give it a go myself, but I thought let me just leave it with the pros, and while it was there they tempted me to a remap. I thought I'd hold off on the modifications, but I thought let's make an efficient trip. So while we were there, we booked it in for a remap, and with this remap we took it to, or from should I say, the factory output is 325 horsepower, which is plenty. After the remap, bear in mind it had some light modifications already, that took it to an impressive 348 horsepower. So I don't know what it was running before, but it's certainly more than that. And let me tell you, it goes. But that comes with 4 or 3 different settings if you discount valet mode. The first one is the remap itself, which gives you all the performance you need. But then it also has a remap plus performance mode, which includes flat foot shifting and launch control, neither of which I have used yet. It also includes adjustable traction control, another feature that I haven't used. Actually, I haven't turned the traction control off yet. The conditions are treacherous, and actually with this level of power it doesn't take much to spin those rear wheels, and yes, we've spun them with the traction control on and felt it kick in. It also has, dare I say it, a pops and bangs map mode. Not something I'm a fan of, planning on using, don't get me wrong. I love a bit of overrun and a bit of afterburn, as some may call it, or maybe I just call it that. I don't think it's healthy for the car, and it's not quite the look that I'm going for. And an additional mod that it's got with it is 20mm spacers all round, which I think looks brilliant. I don't know how much it affects handling, and that's something I want to look into both on the drag strip and any track days that we do. And while we're talking about the bodywork, my observations on things that I want to improve, firstly, the wheels. I think they look absolutely stunning. The 19-inch raised forged alloys, can't say that as a mouthful, can I? I love the colour, however, they have been beaten by time. So I'm looking at getting those refurbished, thinking to keep the colour original, because I think it sets the car off and matches the paintwork, but I'd be keen to get your opinion on whether I should change it or go for something different. It has, from the factory, or at least from the first owner, given the paperwork, got a PPF, a paint protection film, on the front end. And while this was probably a very wise decision, has kept the front end a lot better than it probably would have been, it has been battered over time, and at least on the bonnet it started to peel away. So if you have any ideas about the best way to go about that, so I will be researching it, let me know. I'm thinking hairdryer and just heat it up, peel it off. but I don't want to risk damaging the paintwork underneath. So if you're an expert or you've done it before, please let me know. And the last thing that I've noticed, and I think they really do set off a car, is the headlights. I think they look stylish and fantastic, but another area that's aged. They are a pretty penny. One thing I've had to get used to, considering it's a 2000s car, much like the Golf, is a new level of noise. And I don't mean noise as in cabin rattle. It's got that 2000s quality where everything feels a bit soft and nice, which I wasn't expecting given the reputation that Japanese cars do have. Yes, it's relatively basic, but it feels quite premium and I like it. And what does that also mean when I say there's some things to get used to then? Well, it's the rawness of it. Yes, it turns more sharply. It doesn't have that boaty feel that the Golf did. But the gearbox whines, something I'm not used to. At least in first and second, you hear a slight whine, almost like those rally cars. Tunnel. That and the clutch rattles when you're at least been on a bit of a spirited drive and you're pulling up. But I'm assured by the guys at Horsham that that's normal. It's a sports car. I talk about it having to have some sacrifice compared to the Golf. It's got features that the Golf didn't have. It's got heated seats. I didn't have that in the Golf. Working air conditioning, that's also nice. It's got a navigation unit. It's outdated. I'm not looking to upgrade that because A, it's expensive, and two, Google Maps, man. So we've just pulled over for a moment because I forgot to touch on probably my favourite part of the whole car that kind of goes hand in hand with the engine, and that's this button here. Look, I like buttons on the cars, don't blame me. Sport mode, turn that on, and what that effectively does, as we will see, is doesn't affect the performance, so to speak, but it enables auto rev matching on your downshifts. So that means no more heel to toe in. I think it actually preserves the clutch as well and enables a bit of a smoother drive. But yeah. That's all great. Why do we like it? Because when you downshift, it does this. Need I say more? What I'm going to do now is leave sport mode on, go for a bit of driving on these nice country roads, and just give you a bit of the unfiltered experience of driving a Nissan 370Z. And just enjoy this moment, because sometimes we forget to remember how fortunate we are, and I feel very fortunate. Pheasant! It's only right that we let down the window, right? It is simply a joy to drive. It really is. Alpacas! Alpacas! So what is the plan for the car? Well, as some of you may know, we followed Lorna around last year, capturing her journey into her first season at Santa Pod. And we are going to do the same. In fact, next weekend, we are taking part in Santa Pod's Dial-In Day. What's Dial-In Day, may you ask? Dial-In Day is effectively a novice-only day to learn drag racing at sort of a slower pace where they run mini championships that you get to have plenty of runs in the car, which I'm going to need, while also learning about the fundamentals of drag racing, tips, the tricks, and just how it all works. And by the sounds of it, you're going to have plenty of people there offering you expert advice, and I'm really hoping to capture that moment. Who doesn't love a tunnel? £100 of momentum. The tank weren't even empty. So we're back from our drive in the 370Z. Hope you enjoyed it. Tried a few different things out there. But I did say that I would touch on Lorna's MX-5. Let me show you under the bonnet. Starting out at a humble 160 horsepower, Lorna took a trip to BBR. I don't know what that stands for, but BBR, just outside of the Mercedes F1 factory, which was quite nice to pass. So when she was there, because she wants a bit more power without going forced induction, as much as she'd love a turbo, because it is her daily, we have new parts. What you can see down there is a nice shiny exhaust manifold, and paired up with her Cobra catback exhaust system, she is now with a remap running 184 horsepower, which is, well, 15% more than standard. They did say that whether it's down to age or what, because it is over 100k now, they described it as a slightly looser engine, and they say loose engines make more power. We've had no issues with it so far. It feels absolutely fantastic. Now she's got a bit more power for the track. She loves it. The throttle response is absolutely fantastic. So we'll take a spin soon. If you want to see more of the MX-5, drop it in the comments and let me know. So look out for her and support her and cheer her on this year at her second season of Sportsman ET. I need to stop tapping it, but she is a good girl, Luna love. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Tune in next week where we'll be at Dialing Day at Santa Pod. If you're there, please come say hello. If you're not, stay tuned for the video. We've got a surprise guest behind the camera next weekend. So I'm really hoping to improve the video quality and provide some more entertainment to you guys. And also, hedge your bets. What will we run? It's a manual 370Z with a light amount of modification. What time are we going to run the quarter mile? 15s. In the Golf run high 15s. So, you know, we've got power losses and through the prop shaft going to the rear wheels and all that. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. How fast will this go? Like, comment, subscribe, eat your fruit and veg, and thank you for watching. I'm Ben, and this is Drig. Pretty loud. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with the car. Once I find the go vroom vroom. Alpacas! And that's a wrap.